Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Page of Swords podcast. This is episode 35, and I'm happy to bring on an awesome guest who is in peak week again. Oh, my goodness. Coryne, how are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, just chilling, as you can say, just did some cardio, ate a meal, talking to you, planning the rest of my day out, got some work to do. Everything's good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I mean, the best I've ever felt in a prep. And I wanted to talk to you about that, of course, because I met you at the Clash and you have so much energy and we're here in another peak week for you. And I just feel like you just have a lot of energy, and that's really hard to find in people with like preps. And I love it because I'm like, I feel great. You feel great.
Yeah. Like if your coach has you feeling like absolute dog trash, then I don't know. I don't know how. It's just one of those things. Like, I'm always like super high energy. I mean, I'm drinking a lot of coffee right now too, so that helps a lot.
Oh yeah. How many cup of coffee do you get in like a day?
During peak week, like during these last couple weeks, I probably drink like 4 cups.
Yeah.
And usually I only drink about 1 or 2 a day, but just because I need the extra stimulation, like I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's drink all this coffee.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's nice to switch it up from the water too, especially when, it's water helps you stay full and everything. But, after weeks and days and days and days, you're like, the coffee is just like a really nice switch up.
It sure is. Like that, not just that, but tea too. So I also like drinking a bunch of tea. Pinkies up.
Tea? Yeah, is there a certain kind you like?
Pardon?
Is there a certain kind of tea you like?
No, just any tea. Black tea, green tea, fruit tea, herbal tea, whatever. I grew up drinking a lot of tea. My mom's English, so.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, yeah, that's so cool.
It's good stuff. But yeah, I'm so sick of drinking water. I feel like a fish, like out of water. I'm drowning in water. Like, oh my God. But but I just recently relocated to El Paso, and oh my gosh, it's so hot out here, and so I'm drinking a hell of a lot more water than I usually do just because it's so hot, and I'm like, oh, it's crazy.
And did you say you're in an Airbnb right now?
Yeah, we've been in this little Airbnb for about 2 weeks, and we're actually getting ready to move out of here and into a house. So I'm really looking forward to having like a big full kitchen so I can like prep all our meals, because like we eat a lot and so it's hard cooking enough food for 2 people in this little tiny kitchen. So I'm just like really just looking forward, and we'll be moving into that like when I'm at my show. Like I told those, I was like, you're gonna have to take care of this little cross-town move. I just moved all our stuff from San Antonio to El Paso. I'll get everything packed, so all you got to do is just move boxes.
Oh my goodness. So you were in San Antonio before, right?
Yes.
I love it there, by the way. I love it there.
It's such a good city. It's small, but it's kind of sleepy, but like I love the vibe there, and like people are good, food's good. Like there's a lot of fun things to do in San Antonio and like the surrounding areas, because there's the hill country. So if you're into like wine and stuff like that, wine country is right up there. A lot of like really fun parks to go to. And then I wouldn't really go to the ocean, but you can always go down to like Corpus or what's the place called? South Padre Island. Everyone's always talking about that.
Is that the river walk?
Oh no, the river walk's in San Antonio.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it's fun. And it's crazy because like during St. Patrick's Day, they actually dye the river green.
Pittsburgh will do that too. Pittsburgh will like dye certain fountains and stuff green, and I don't even know. And the rivers are just like gross anyway. So I guess you got to distract it.
Right. I'm like, I don't touch the water. I'm like, no. I like having all my appendages.
Exactly. So, okay. So you were in the process of moving. So when I met you at the Clash, I remember you said you were about to move, and your hubby was still in the military. Like, well, he was away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's a fiancé, right?
Yes.
And does he compete?
He's competed once, But he's been so busy with his, his military career and everything like that, that he's put a lot of that on the back burner. And so he was like, I'm living vicariously through you right now. But he still maintains like a bodybuilder physique. He still lives the lifestyle. And he trains like a crazy man, and he still eats. But he's currently not competing right now. So maybe sometime in the future, like once he's kind of like settled down, been back for a while, and kind of see which, after he gets promoted again, kind of see, we might be able to get him back on stage, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, so that sounds cool. How did you guys meet?
On Instagram, of all places.
Hey, that's not bad. Hey, that's how it is nowadays sometimes.
It is. It was, I don't know who reached out to who first, but like, instead of being like, hey girl, you look sexy or something like that, he was like, hey, you have a very nice physique. And I was like, oh, why, thank you. And then, so that was what really like got my interest in him, because instead of being all like this, normal, he was just like very, very respectful with it. And I was like, okay, I can dig this. And then I started, and right around the time we started talking, it was the Army-Navy game, and he graduated from West Point. And so my dad is in the Navy. And so I was like, go Navy, beat Army. And I was like ragging on him for like a whole week. It was so funny. And so then we just ended up like talking, and then he was like, hey, I want to meet. So he flew me out here to lovely El Paso, and then we just clicked.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm sure there was a little bit of a distance there. So that's pretty cool that you were able to somehow make it work and meet. So yeah, I love that. Yeah. Now, did he compete when you guys were together or not?
No, he competed in 2018 after he graduated from West Point. I think he did one of the shows in Vegas. I think he won his class. He placed top 2 in his class or something like that. And so he did men's physique, but I think his ultimate goal in the long run is to either compete in classic or bodybuilding.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of guys. I mean, yeah, I never hear too many that are like really want to stay in physique. It's usually they want to grow out of it eventually. Yeah.
Like kind of like what we want to do.
I don't mind the board shorts. They're colorful and fun.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. I'm just like looking at everyone's like board. I'm like, all y'all people have like these crazy colored board shorts. Like it's entertaining to me.
Yeah. It's because it's for men. That's the only one that can get really like colorful and designy and stuff like that with their outfits. The other ones are pretty solid colors for the most part.
Yeah, the black trunks, the black ones.
Yes, for sure. And so I wanted to, since we're on the topic of suits, what about because I know you have a suit sponsor, and what is that? Angel Toxic Angels, right?
Toxic Angels, yes.
Okay.
And they are so awesome. I love Toxic Angels. My very first suit when I started competing in 2017 as a bikini girl was actually a toxic suit as well. And it's actually kind of funny because the suit colors are actually pretty similar. I was like, whoa. And I still have that suit. I'm going to get it framed. But they have like really awesome suits. They do posing suits, and they also do beachwear. And so like, I'm going to like do something in the works if the Mr. and I end up going to the beach and get a really nice swimsuit made from them. But they have like, all their cuts are great. They have different styles of like, top cuts, and for figure as well. They've got like a micro pro, I think it's micro pro, and then like a regular bottom cut, because how some ladies, they don't want to show like, their whole butt or anything like that. So they have different like cuts for the bottoms and the tops of the suits.
Yeah, I've heard lots of good things about that company for sure. They've been around for a while, and I'm sure are they associated to like as a group with FitBodyfusion? Okay.
A lot of our athletes, they do go with Toxic Angels just because they're really, really awesome, and they make really good high quality suits for like, you're not like paying like 6 months rent just to buy a suit, because as I'm sure our suits, especially being figure girls, our suits are crazy expensive.
Oh, for sure. And like, you don't want to be cheap about it. I'm sorry, you don't.
No, you want to make sure that when you step on that stage, like your suit looks on point, like the stones are shiny. You want to make sure that like everything's good. You don't want to like you put all that work into like your physique. You don't want to like skimp on your suit.
Absolutely, for sure. And you know, you're putting so much money into it also, and you just want color variations and everything. And I'm sure those ladies really know like what kind of suits will complement you and everything. And is there a color that you know works for you best?
Um, I think blue, because
Yeah.
like my current suit is like a turquoise blue, and it's red, white, and blue, but it's very toned down. It's almost like pastel. I've never had a red suit or anything like that, so I really like the way like turquoise, like blue, looks on my skin. Just because I have, you know, like a darker complexion, and then when I'm all super tanned up, like it just looks really, really good. But for the most part, I like to see, especially like I like to see my athletes, my girls, in like jewel tones, so like reds, purples, blues, greens, because they just complement everybody's skin tone so well. And when you're on stage under all those lights, like it doesn't like look like an aura. Because if you've seen somebody on stage and they're in like a yellow or an orange suit or like a white suit, it kind of has this like glow, and it's very strange. And I'm just like,
I agree. And since you said that too about the jewel tones, I've had a lot of like first comer, beginner people that want to get into competing and everything. And when they bring up the suits and stuff, and I'm like, well, what color? Because that's usually a big question. I'm always wanting to know like what color comes to mind when you want a suit for your first show. And I know so many girls that are just like, they always want to do lighter. And I'm like, sometimes the lighter is actually not the best way to go. Like darker suits, I think, work a little better, especially with the lights. If you get something too pastel-y, it's really going to glow, like you said, where it comes off weird.
Yeah, and I mean, you can always do like a darker suit with like lighter stones, because the suit color is going to shine through the stones. And so if someone's like really hell-bent on doing like, I really want pink or yellow or white or whatever color, or silver, that's kind of what I would suggest, would be doing like the darker color suit with the light stones on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a good tip too. I do like that idea because black suits, like black fabric suits, are really popular. I know my suits like that with the green gems on mine. Really,
I know, yours was so pretty.
thank you. So back to competing and everything. So you started in 2017, right? Okay.
I
I'm
sure
on the
did.
NPC website, so I was kind of like looking at your little history here. And I know the NPC website's great for that. Like if you want to creep on some competitors, it's like
Yeah,
got everything that you need.
I know, it's so fun, and it's cool to see just like how like you know, how long some shows have been going on, and like who's been competing in these shows, and you can kind of see like patterns and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I tell people too, if there's a show that you're looking at and you don't know what suit color again to go with, sometimes just look at what that show's background was last year or what the winner wore. I do that all the time because
That's a
like
good one.
I'm getting pink for this year, or I shouldn't say this year, but the next show. And
Really?
I was like, I hope that pink will look good with the USA's background, but lucky for me, it's just black. So honestly,
Oh,
it's hard to go wrong if like
that's gonna look
black.
that's gonna look really good. I can't wait to see your suit.
Thanks. I can't wait because I've been wearing green since I started.
The
So
green looked so good on you too. I was like, damn,
that's why I
because
was
it
scared to
complements your
try.
hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little lighter though. I am gonna try to add some blonde, and we'll see how that works. But that's
There you
fun.
go.
So you started in bikini, and your first show is the Branch Warrant.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it says bikini. You did sixth your first show, and it looks like you wore like a purple suit.
Yeah, it was my blurple one. I really liked that bikini. That was an interesting experience because
Yeah.
I didn't feel 100% comfortable in bikini, and I was just kind of like really like awkward, like I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. And like I remember when they called my name to go up there and do my little thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had like tunnel vision so bad. Like I went like this, vroom, and like I just zoomed in on the square, and I just like literally I stomped. I was like stomp, 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 and I was just like holy crap. And like I was like, it was just the craziest thing. Oh my god, it was so funny. But it was obviously, first show. It was fun. I enjoyed the whole thing. But I think after that, I was kind of like, I don't know if I really like bikini. Like, I really liked watching like the figure and the physique ladies. I was like, that's what I want to do. And then I did another show after that.
I was looking
And
at your other bikini pictures. It's cute
Yeah.
though. So this one here is the one of the other Texas shows, I believe.
Yeah. Texas Legends, I think it was, up in Dallas. And I think I placed like second in my class at that show.
Yeah.
And that was a fun show too. Like every single time I've competed, it's always been fun.
Mhm.
But then I think that was after that, like I realized that really bikini was not where I needed to be. And then I think 5 weeks after that show, I moved up into figure, and I did the San Antonio Classic in 2018 and 2017. And then I did figure for the very first time, and I went on stage and I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want to do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I took some time, competed in 2018 at the SA Classic again, figure and physique, and I fell in love. I was just like, yep, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Oh,
So,
definitely. I mean, do you remember what your feedback was as a bikini competitor?
honestly, no.
That's okay.
I don't. It was a long time ago. It was probably something like get leaner, or like come in leaner or something like that. And that's usually like my hang up is I'm usually like, I just got to keep that conditioning. But my coach, he was like, you're like a water buffalo. You like holding water. I'm like, thanks. And so like, that's all like for feedback for the last two shows. It was just come in leaner.
Yeah, that's been me too. So I definitely can relate. It's hard. Like,
especially being women, it's like, because you know the area, like I don't know about you, but my problem area is like my glutes, my hamstring, my tying. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Obviously we're meant to, you know, bear children, and so our body's like, no, I don't want to get rid of all the fat, and so it like makes it really hard.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure, like we were talking about, drinking so much water that, you know, that plays a role too. You know what I mean? Because, like, I mean, we try to be consistent on our water, but some days we're just going to drink more, or sometimes we drink less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sodium intake too. That can have a big deal. That can have a big impact on it. Also, hormones. If it's that time of month, if you have that, that can also, you know, play a role in that as well.
Absolutely. And like, I feel like for me, I'm such a go work person that I feel like I need to always be on the move. But like, sometimes I'm just maybe too much on the move or not enough. So like, that's never consistent either. Cause I know, like, I have a really hard time in peak week keeping the feet up. I don't know about you.
I'm like, I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. I gotta just be all over the place all at once. And I'm just like, I need to rest my feet. And I've been trying to like do that a little bit more lately. And I'm really hoping I can do it this weekend. But I'm like you, I'm just like, I gotta go. I'm always on the move. I don't like being still for too long, but when the energy tanks, it's kind of harder to do that. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna just chill.
I know. And I think we both like anime. So at least there's like that we can watch.
Yes. What was I watching? I was watching some like random one this morning when I was doing my cardio. I was on Crunchyroll and it was like My Life as a Slime or something like that. It's like a funny one. It's like, it's really cute in a way, but I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes in and I'm just like, okay, I can dig this. Like, it's not, you know how some of them are super fan servicey? Like this one isn't. Like, it's just like super cute. And I'm just like, oh, it's super kawaii. So I was like totally just like walking. I was like, this is great. This is great.
I might have to watch that one then, because like I try to find ones that are like quirky and cute too, like that. And because I love Crunchyroll, but there's just so much on there. I'm like, I need someone to tell me what's good.
Yeah, that's how I'm just like, I don't know, because like, you know how everything is subjective. It's like, well, I thought this one was good, and then someone else would be like, well, that one sucks, you should watch this one. I actually found this one. I think it's called like Chitose. It's like this little emperor. It's so cute. This little baby emperor penguin, and she's just going around like the little like Kyoto or whatever city, and like everyone's like, oh no, Chitose, and it's like, so I'll have to send it to you, because like I was just like, it was so cute. My grandma loves penguins, so that was another reason why I watched it.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, anime is one of those things that I can just watch, especially in prep, and just totally zone out and be comfortable, and just like, I don't have to feel like I get committed, because there's like some stuff where it's like you get so sucked in, you can't put it down. And if you're trying to sleep, like, I want something that like it's an episode and like it's easy to be like, all right, I can wait till tomorrow to watch more.
Have you seen we because I waited for Lewis to get back from this deployment. I told him, I was like, this is how much I love you. I have not watched the new season of Attack on Titan. And so we're finally watching it now. And I think we're like 3 or 4 episodes in. It's so good. Have you watched it yet?
No, but I've heard so much about it. I really have.
If you've seen the other 3 seasons, you've got to watch this one. It's so good.
Okay, I'll have to look for that one too, because I feel like that might even be on Netflix too. I think it's one of those popular ones, but
I think
I have
season one and 2. I think seasons 1 and 2 are on Netflix. I'm not sure if season 3 is, but season 4 is like super new, and it might come on like Adult Swim or whatever, but it's definitely on Crunchyroll.
Well, I have that, so I'll have to look at that one too.
Got to. Just like My Hero, the new season of My Hero's out.
I've heard about that one too. I always seem to just like rewatch like really old ones. Like I love Inuyasha, and like I tried to get back in they had the new Inuyasha. I watched all of that on Crunchyroll, and then I tried to like get back into Naruto, and it's just so much that I literally was just like I can't.
Yeah. It's there. Yeah. The man, he's pretty much finished watching Shippuden. I think I'm only like 4 episodes in, and I'm just like 700 episodes. I was just like, yo, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't.
I literally was like, I'm gonna find the episode that I can like just then watch the movie. Like, that's all.
Yeah. Is there sometimes like that's like with One Piece too? There's like so many episodes, and I'm like, this is gonna take over a year to watch. Like, if I watch 1 episode a day, it's gonna take like 1,000 days. That's like 3 years, 3, 6, 9.
Yeah, for real. And it's just so popular, and I don't know, but I love that we're bodybuilders and we love anime, and it's just it's not common, but I love it.
It's so good. Like I grew up watching it for the most part. Like, it's how I started drawing. I started watching anime, and I was like, I like that. I'm gonna start drawing. And so that's how I learned how to do art. It was just from watching anime and trying to draw it. And then I saw some of my old sketches when I was packing up all my stuff. I was like, let's never see this ever again.
I was like, sometimes I do find stuff that was good, and I'm just like, why did I stop? And then I just think like, I don't have time for that now.
Yeah, there's more important things like cooking and eating and going to the gym.
Yes, right. And then like I've gotten into YouTube and stuff, so now I just want to do like more like recording with a podcast or vlogging, and I'm more into that side of art. I think it's because I do graphic design for a full-time job, so I'm just kind of like burnt out from that.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's cool.
How did you get into coaching?
Well, when I joined FitBodyfusion, I was what was I doing? I think I was just working at like this super high-end grocery store.
Okay.
And then I had to leave for health reasons. And then I was like, man, I want to become a personal trainer. So I got certified through NASM, went through the course, and I was like, oh wow, this is the mechanics of a squat. Like, you just go to the gym, you don't really think about it. I learned so much going through that NASM course. And then I became a personal trainer. In 27, right around the same time as my first figure show. And then I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years almost. And I was, still on FitBodyfusion on the team. And then head coach Jamie, she was just like, hey, what do you think about becoming a coach for FitBodyfusion? And I was like, oh my God, really? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so for me, like, being a coach on the team, like, I primarily work with women who are, who want to compete in figure or physique, just because, like, that's my bread and butter. That's what I do. I mean, I can coach all the divisions, but, like, I prefer to coach figure and physique just because, like, that's where my heart's at. And so when did I start coaching? I started coaching in September of 2018 for FitBodyfusion. And then I became full-time coach in 2019. And it's just been, it's been great. Like, I love being able to work with all sorts of different ladies, like, regardless of whether they want to compete or not. Like, just being able to help people, like, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's like always super fun. Is anybody in client or face-to-face or whatever? Well, you just moved too, but were you doing like face-to-face, or is it all just email online?
Back when I was in San Antonio, I had 2 in-person clients. No, 3, 2 or 3. when I was in San Antonio, but now I'm out here in El Paso. Everything is just like straight up online. So we just use, I just use the app that we have, and I'm able to like check my clients in, take care of everything that they need through the app. So maybe I'll be able to get some new, some clients out here in El Paso. We'll see.
Shout out. Yeah. Anybody that's looking for the clients.
I like it out here though. It's a really good like fitness, the fitness community out here is pretty good. And I'm just like, okay, it reminds me of San Antonio. There's some really, really good gyms out here. We've been going to Show Off's gym in the north, their new location, which is like so awesome. I'm like, yes, it's like a hardcore, like a bodybuilding gym. And like, I'm happy. Like I feel right at home there. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, and they've got a dedicated posing room. I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Those are hard to find. Like I see them in more and more in like newer gyms, but like, yeah, it's hard to find a good posing room, especially with the mirrors.
Yeah. And it's cool because they have like, you walk in the room, there's like the mirrors like right in front of you. And then like pretend you're the mirror, and then they have a mirror like up there, back there. So like when you're hitting your back poses, you can actually see your back. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
I've been in those, and you're just like, is that me?
It's really exciting. It's fun. I need to bring my heels today. Thanks for the reminder. I gotta take my heels to the gym and go practice after I do my lift. Back day. What are you training today?
Oh shit. Yeah, I got shoulders today.
Snaps. Boulder shoulders, girlfriend.
Yeah, I got shoulders. I'll do back this weekend. I probably have to do a rest day tomorrow though. So I just did legs yesterday.
I did Wednesday. I did them on Wednesday, and I was like, oh my God, this leg workout was no joke. I was like drained. I was like, oh my gosh.
So here's a question that I want to know then about legs, and then because you're in peak week and everything too. So when we're trying to like work on conditioning and stuff, is there any sort of like anything that you change with leg day that you think like helps with conditioning? Like, do you keep your weight high and just more reps or any of that kind of style?
Currently, like I've just been doing anywhere from probably about like 8 to 12 reps. As far as my leg days are concerned, and I think I actually bumped my sets up to like 5 this week. Okay. Everything's changing next week, but I don't know to what because I haven't looked yet. But we noticed like once we pulled that, I have the only cardio I've been doing since like before Clash is just steady state cardio and like just walking. Like I have not been doing any HIIT because like that for what like my body was not liking it, and it was like really inflamed. And so like my coach was just like, let's pull the HIIT, let's do this, blah, 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 blah. And then my legs just started to just come through, and it was just like, wow. So I haven't really had to change much as far as my training is concerned, which is kind of nice because then I already have an idea of what I'm doing when I go to the gym. It's not like, everything's changing all the time and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like stressful that way. Because like I'm that person. I like consistency. But as far as like my training's pretty much stayed the same.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't really changed too much, and that's why I'm like, I should ask, because I was the same way, because my coach before the Clash, she cut Stairmaster because I've been doing the Stairmaster since I've started competing. And she like pulled me off and put me on the bike, and she was just like, I like what this is doing. And like in my head, I'm so used to the, killing myself on the Stairmaster. And when she said to do the bike, I was like, really? That's it? I feel weird. Like, but yeah. You're right. So maybe sometimes it's not even like the training, it's more of the cardio to look at and what energy expenditure you're putting on that.
Yeah. Cause like for me, like I've either back when I was in South Carolina, I was just going and walking around my friend's neighborhood, and I was just walking, girl. I was just walking, and it was great. And so now it's way too hot to be walking around out here, and I like going on the treadmill because then I can keep my speed consistent. Because like I was walking around South Carolina, I was like distracted. I was like, look, ducks, look, flowers. And I was like smelling the flowers and stuff like that because there was a jasmine and it smells so good. And so like I really like just being in the gym and just walking on that treadmill, just because like I can increase the incline if I need to, or get my speed constant. So that way I'm like, steady state, keeping my heart where it needs to be. But yeah, sometimes it's not always like you don't need to go 100,000% to get the results. Like, but you can't, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but like everyone's different. So what's working for me might not work for you or some of my clients or anybody else. That's just how my body is responding to my training, my diet, the cardio. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, obviously it's a case by case basis. So
definitely. And that's why it's so good to have a coach that understands your body and everything too. Just like, you know, your coach made that call with the cardio and it worked.
I was like, oh snaps, we got muscles I didn't even know were there.
Right. You're just like, oh, I just needed to pull back a little bit. That's like a thing. Okay.
Yeah, take some of that stress off your body. And once that, you know, you get a little bit of that stress gone, your body's able to just like relax and do what it's supposed to.
Absolutely. That's a huge factor that people don't think about with competing. We are just high energy people.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like you can't, it's not always balls to the wall all the time. Sometimes, like what you said, pull back and your body will do what it needs to do.
Absolutely. And now that we go back to competing, so your first national show then, so 2018, it looks like you did nationals. That was your first ever national show?
Yep. And it was crazy. I was like, wow. Cause usually, cause I'm 5'5". So my class when I compete in figure is class D. Cause I'm on the taller end of the spectrum. And so usually like in most of my shows, like there's only like 4 to 6, maybe 8 people in my class, maybe. And so when I went to this national show in 2018, there was like 23, 26 people. I was like, there are so many people in my class. Like, it was crazy. And I think I placed like 13th. And I was just happy to be there. I was just like, I don't give a shit where I place. I'm just happy to be here. And I was so happy. And then it was just like, after that, it was like, okay, cool. Let's take this feedback and just eat and grow. And then
you took what? You took off until 2021, right?
Yep. I took just about over 2 years off. And it was totally worth it. Like, and I always tell people, I'm like, look, there's no rush to get to the stage in 6 months. Like, especially for figure and physique, like you have to eat, you have to grow, because you can't just go up there and be like, here I am. Like, no, like you've got to put the work in, you know, and it's not as simple as just being like, I'm going to do a diet for 6 weeks and then cut for 12. Like, no,
that's maybe bikini can get away with it. Cause they're usually on the leaner side of things, but
they're so petite.
Yeah, but but depending if what level you're at, you definitely need like the shoulder caps and stuff, and that requires what we're doing.
Yeah, and the lat growth too. Like, that's no joke, and that takes time. And that's what people don't like really think about. They're just like, I just want to get on stage. I just want to do the thing. And I'm like, I want to work with you for at least 6 months minimum before we even think about doing a show, you know what I mean? I like to at least work for at least 9, just because that way we can get like some good muscle growth going on, some good high macros, like get any kind of like imbalances like worked out, you know, and then look at that. Because, you know, I'm sure you kind of understand, like if you start a prep and you're only eating like 1,200 calories, like you're gonna have a really rough time. You know what I mean?
People undereat. So many people. I'm sure you see that all the time as a coach. You get people who come to you and it's like, what are you eating? And it's like, I eat like 1 or 2 meals a day. And I'm like,
yeah. I'm like, how are you surviving right now? How do you have energy right now?
So if I tell you I want you to eat 5 meals, how much is that going to scare you?
Right. No, that's what I say. I'm like, I always like to, you know, Matthew McConaughey, I'm like, those are rookie numbers. Let's bump those numbers up. Yeah. And I usually have everybody like eating about 5 to 6 meals. Just depends on, you know, what they do for, you know, a living or whatever like that. And I'm like, you're going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable in order to like get some of the muscle mass that you want. We're going to have to eat and grow. We're going to have to put some weight on, but it's going to be good because we're going to be doing it like slow and controlled. So it's not like you're just going to like blow up.
Yeah. And it's always like, listen, I will not get you fat. This is a process. So
yeah. I mean, back right before I started the prep for this year, I think I got up to about 177 pounds. I was like, holy crap, I've never been this heavy in my life.
Yeah, I was 161, I know, and I'm 5'3", so I know.
Yeah, but like here's the thing though, like because we had the muscle mat, like we didn't look like it, but I don't know about you, but I love being heavier. I'm just like, this is so great. I can sit down and my butt doesn't hurt. Like I'm not cold. Like I can sleep and my knees aren't like knocking together. Like it's so much, and clothes fit so much better. You got curves, girl.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm single, so like at the end of my off season, I was going on dates, and I'm like, men, no, I won't say all men, but a lot of men will prefer that look if
Yeah.
you're single and you're looking like, you know, girls will be like, oh, I look like this, and I'm like, some guys like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Like they like, because it just shows you that you're healthy. You know what I mean? Like being lean and being shredded and seeing like vascularity and like muscle fibers, that's cool. But like being in your off season, that's even better.
Oh, for sure. And it's, you have to learn to like yourself and have the confidence, because that will be a big difference too.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you've seen it so many times. Like, oh, I hate my off-season body, and I'm just like, why? Like, you're a woman. Like, embrace it. Like, be happy. Like, you know, like you said, you have to be happy with your body in every stage of either just life or, you know, competition. Like, embrace your off-season bod, embrace your on-season bod, but don't tie your self-worth to your on-season physique. You know what I mean? Because we all know it's not sustainable, you know, year round. You know what I mean? Like you have to let your body get back to normal, you know, put some body fat back on, get your hormones right, you know. And like, and that's what I try to work with my clients on, is like loving their body at each stage of their journey, whether they're just starting or like, you know, they're, you know, 6 weeks into our prep, 12 weeks in, you know, a couple days out from a show, whatever, post show. And I really try to make sure that like they understand, like, love yourself. And because if you already have like some type of like eating, like an eating disorder, or you're very, very bad, you know, self body image, going through a prep can trigger some things and make it even worse. And so that's another thing, that's part of the reason why I also like to work with people for, you know, for at least 6 to 9 months before even going down the prep road, just because like it's a very crazy, bodybuilding is a crazy sport, because, you know, you're like, here's my body, how do I look? And it's like, what the like, what kind of normal people do that? You know what I mean? And it can really mess with your head. And so like, I always try to make sure that my girls, my ladies, are in a really good spot before starting, just because like, I care about them and I love them so much, and I don't want to see them like go down crazy dark paths.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And it's good because we're both experienced, and that's like, this is the kind of information I want to get out with the podcast and everything too. It's just like, there's a lot that goes into this sport, and like, you learn as you go, but if you can somehow educate yourself and learn from other people's experience, you know, like you said too before, everybody's different in a way, but there's just little bits and pieces from people's experiences and stories that can, like, you know, help you along the way in your decision making. So definitely understand.
yeah, girl, it's so much stuff.
So what made you want to do the Clash? Because that was your first show back,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I think what it was, that was April, and I think I did that show. It was one of our FitBodyfusion shows, so we were like, it was one of our sponsored shows, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the timeline for that show going into junior USA's, or whatever it was called, the national show, like right after that, I think the timeline fit for that, because Lewis was coming home, you know, at the end of May, and so like everything just kind of like worked out, and so that's why I ended up doing that show. And then I went and lived with my best friend in South Carolina after, for like 6 weeks leading up to the national show, so that was fun. And that was basically like the main reasoning behind that, and it was just a fun show.
Yeah. Oh,
it was.
Yeah, the Clash was great. This was my first show traveling outside of the state, and I think it was for you too, right? Was this your first show? Or no, because you did the national show.
I didn't. Right. No, it was my first show traveling like by because back in the day, like when I first started competing, like my mom used to come with me. So this was the first time I'd ever like done it. Like she wasn't there. I was just like, oh my God, this is totally different. But it was a fun experience. It was a good show, like a really well run show. And my family was there too. My cousins came out, and I was like, oh, it's so awesome. So it was a really good show.
Yeah, I had a good time. I definitely had a struggle bus part in the backstage area because I didn't know if there was a competitors meeting where they kind of like tell you, because I literally showed up backstage and like the girls were pumping up and I'm like, oh no, like I literally like went in the panic mode because I was like not prepared at all. I threw my stuff down and had to hurry up and put my jewelry on so I could start like getting glazed. And I was like, I missed the memo when to get here. Like,
yeah, because it went fast. Like that show went so fast. I was like, damn, I'm already on. Like it started at what, 9 o'clock, and by like 9:10, I was already on stage for Women's Physique. I was like, this was fast.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready because I've done several shows where, I mean, you're just sitting and sitting and sitting forever because all the men divisions take forever. And yeah, when I got there and I saw the wellness girls pumping up, I'm like, uh-oh, like this isn't good.
So what made you want to do the Clash, since you asked me?
Okay, well, I'm interviewing you, but I wanted to just do a show outside of Pennsylvania. And to be honest, like with the COVID restrictions and stuff, at the time, like a lot of the venues were just like, they just were like putting shows in like weird venues that I was like, I'm not putting all this money into these like weird community center venues. Like I'm happy the shows are going on, but they look like they're in a community center. And I was like, no, I want the stage. I want the whole shebang.
Right.
And I was like, and I want to do a national show. So I might as well get some traveling experience under my belt anyways, in case I don't do North Americans here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So yeah, here, I mean, and it was fun. It was cool to go to Florida, do a show. You know, it was a whole new experience. I love meeting new people. I got to meet you and stay connected. Like that's always so much fun with competing.
Yeah, you don't realize, like, I'm still friends with people that I met like back when I was doing bikini. Like I'm still friends with those people, and it's like pretty cool to see them, how they've they've either decided to stick with bodybuilding or they've decided to kind of like go down a different path or whatever. It's really cool just to like stay in connection with people that you meet at shows, and some people turn out to be like really, really good friends. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I love it too. I really do. It is really nice because then those people that you knew back then, they see where you are now and they're just like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that's really nice. Like, cause you just don't think about it. The years go so fast.
Yeah, my bad. My battery was like 20%. No, everything goes. That's what I've noticed. Like now, like the years are going so much faster, and I'm like, oh my god, slow down. Like it's already like we're legit. Like we're halfway through 2021.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Right. Like I'm looking at the rest of prep, being 7 weeks out, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen at USA's, but there's even a chance that I do North Americans if something happens, and then I'm like, okay, well then I have to like put September on the calendar, and I'm just like, I started, yeah, and I'm just like, I've been in prep since last Halloween. So
Jesus,
like,
wow,
good.
Yeah, that's a long time. I think I've been in prep since January. Yeah. So 6 months means like 9 months for you.
Well, I wanted to do the Arnold before it got canceled.
Yeah, that would be a really awesome show. Oh, yeah. Man.
I really wanted to do the Arnold when I thought it was in Ohio back in March. And I was like, and then it got canceled. And I'm like, all right, next up, Clash.
There you go. Yeah. That would be a good show.
So to end this episode, I would love to kind of talk about, what your future plans are, because now you're going into junior nationals.
I always get them confused. I'm like the junior mabob. Yes.
Well, here's the other thing with the junior USAs, you got first, but they don't reward pro cards to physique. Okay.
So it was for that show, you had to win your class, and then you're up for the overall. And that's when they were like, okay, 3 figure competitors and 2 women's physique competitors. And so those are the people that went pro. And I literally missed it by like that much. Even though I won both of my classes, I was like, ah. So we're hoping to just carry that momentum from that show into this one, and hopefully, you know, come out with a result that we like.
Yeah, I mean, you are so close. Yeah, I would literally like, I wouldn't be able to stop. There's no way that you could shut it down on that note.
No. And, you know, hopefully like everything goes our way this time, and, you know, then I can shut prep down and just enjoy a good long off season again. And get back, you know, eat food with my man and just enjoy life. But you know, always got to think of both options. If things don't go how we would like them, I'm just going to have to stay on prep, and I'm not sure what would be the next step after that one. Cause I know, what is it? Universe is in July, beginning of July, but I think that's like, it's too close. Cause like I'd have to book the flight.
USA's with me.
I might end up doing that. Where's that one?
Yeah, because you're closer. Come on up. Or over.
Because like basically, because like I was like, oh my god, I had to book like all my flight, my hotel, everything for this show. And I was like, and like flying to Chattanooga, like there's no direct flight into Chattanooga, so I have to fly from El Paso to Atlanta to Chattanooga. I was like, man, it's gonna be a long flight.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing I hate more than trying to scurry through an airport for connecting flights, and that's if you had time to like get off and get yourself collected without running to the next one.
Yeah, it's a hassle, but that's how I like to get my cardio in. I'm like, I'm gonna power walk through the airport and find my place. Traveling is fun though. Like I really enjoy traveling, just being able to like go to airports and just like go to different places. I'm just like, this is, because you always end up meeting like really cool people too.
Yeah, I agree. Because after this prep, I really want to. I don't know if I want to go to the Olympia this year and hang out. I don't know if I want to like just go somewhere with a gym. Like I would love to go to Texas. You guys have so many cool gyms all over the state.
Oh yeah.
So I've got plans, but we'll see where I end up. I want
Obviously, hit me up if you ever end up coming out to El Paso.
I've been to like Tyler and stuff, so I've been around, you know what I mean? It's a big state though.
Texas is huge. We have 2 time zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took, when we drove from San Antonio to here, it with a 15-foot U-Haul and 2 car trailers, it took us 12 hours to drive. But then when my parents were going back, it only took them 7 because they just had a Tahoe. And I was just like, man, but it's a big state, and like literally it's about 800 miles from El Paso to Beaumont, like right in the edge of Texas. It's about 800 miles. So we big.
Yes, very big. Yeah, you might as well just fly everywhere just in that one state.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Well, I wish you so much luck not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm going to post this literally tonight. So yes, thank you so much for coming on. I love your energy. You are doing fantastic. And I love that you do physique and figure. Like, you're going to get a pro card. So let's go.
That's the goal, right? Same for you. I'm excited for your upcoming show too.
Well, yeah. Well, if you end up at USA's, we'll definitely have another party backstage, and we'll talk about anime.
We can pop pre-workout and get wasted.
Yeah, I love it. And what's your Instagram for everybody?
My Instagram is Aunty, AUNTY _Cocolicious, COCOLICIOUS. So you know, if you're intrigued by what you've seen today, go ahead and give me a follow and just let me know. Hey, I saw you on the podcast. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yes, so. Sure. And if you're looking for a coach, FitBodyfusion here, you got it.
Yep. And also, thanks for having me on. This was actually really fun. I've never done a podcast before, so I'm just like, okay, I can dig this.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, and I'll send you all the links and stuff. It'll be a good time, so I appreciate it. And yeah, till next time, dear. Have a good one, all right?
Yes, ma'am. You take care. Kill your prep. You got this.
Thanks. You too. Bye.